Is your HOA always this fair? Gate, creak, porch glare, and orange ban notice slapped across my mom's pickup window. Paper slam. Karen, clipboard. Hi, mocked and threatened towed, fined, blocked because a memory looked unsightly in my own driveway beside the mailbox. Then the paper fought back county easement map permit stamp. Thunk under courthouse lights. Porch glare, turning from shame to proof as the gavel dropped seal impression catching light neighbors watching. Anyway, next up the meeting. I read it into the record, and their clubhouse went quiet under the posted order tonight. The sound comes first, a flat slap, like a palm on metal. When I open the door, an orange sticker glows on the side of Mom's old pickup ban notice, FAR 12-07. It's angled sharp across the window, bright enough to blind. My breath fogs the glass as I step closer. Dew still runs down the hood, pooling around my diner coffee cool now untouched. Across the street, Karen Millen, our HOA president, stands in her pressed beige suit like she's opening a parade. Clipboard in hand, sunglasses at dawn. 2 HOA helpers hover behind her, phones out. Mr. Lang, she calls this vehicle, violates HOA Resolution 1207. Commercial equipment is not permitted in driveways. I study the sticker again, thick vinyl permanent adhesive. Underneath the chipped paint, Mom and I covered one summer with matching brushes. Her name's still faint on the door panel, Lang & Son Upholstery. It's not commercial, I say. It's my mother's truck. Karen doesn't blink. Intent doesn't change compliance. Mini cliff number 1. Shock and humiliation, the gate motor hums behind her, beep, click. The sound presses like a gavel. Earl, my neighbor, leans on his fence. He's wearing his postal cap even though he retired last year. Rough morning, huh? He says, half smiling, half sorry. Guess I broke the neighborhood image, I answer. Karen continues reading off her laminated sheet. Section 1207 vehicles exceeding 9 feet, bearing business markings or deemed unsightly shall be removed within 48 hours. She adds, tow fees apply after the deadline. Her voice is steady, practiced. She's not reading law, she's reading a recipe. I take a step closer, my shadow crossing the edge of her clipboard. You'll have to explain unsightly to me, I say. We enforce consistency, she replies. That's how order survives. Mini cliff number 2. Confrontation out to the truck sits silent chrome dulling under sunrise. My mother's air freshener shaped like a bluebird swings once on the mirror. For a second, I smell her hand lotion, the cheap lavender one from the pharmacy. Karen lowers the sheet, satisfied. 48 hours, Mr. Lang. I trust you'll comply. I won't, I tell her. You file your paper, I'll file mine. Her brows lift tiny victory dance in her eyes, then she turns heels, clicking toward her SUV. Earl sips his coffee. You're really gonna fight the board? Not fight, I say. Answer. He nods quietly, impressed. 'Bout time. Somebody did. Symbolic, beat. Mocked, pressed. I stand under the gate, shadow silent but burning. I walk back inside. The screen door squeaks the same way it did when Mom waited on the porch. On her old desk sits a cracked envelope marked County Records. I open it. Inside, truck title warranty papers, a faded photo. Mom smiling by that same pickup grease on her cheek, sun cutting through the backyard trees. On the back of the photo, she wrote, "Keep it clean, son. It's your proof you belong here." My jaw tightens. Proof? That's what this is now. I grab my phone, step out again, and take a photo of the sticker filed FAR 12-07-03-17, stamped in the corner of the screen. Evidence, not memory. Mini cliff number 3. Resolve and forward motion. The neighborhood feels staged, identical lawns, perfect mailboxes. Karen's SUV idles by the clubhouse brake lights, pulsing like warning flares. I peel my coffee cup off the hood and toss it in the bin. The air smells like cut grass and engine coolant. The sticker, bright as a threat, ripples slightly in the breeze. I speak to no one in particular, 48 hours. We'll see whose clock runs out first. I lock the truck, pocket the photo, and walk toward the post office. The sun hits the gate, scattering across its metal bars like a spotlight. Behind me, the sticker burns against the glass orange defiant alive. The HOA board banned my mom's truck on paper before hearing me out. That's how the notice read, cold print taped beside the door of the clubhouse. It was the same fluorescent-lit room we used for potlucks and charity raffles, now rearranged with folding chairs, a flag in the corner, and the faint smell of burnt coffee from the vending urn. Earl sat 2 rows back, hat in hand. Karen Millen stood at the podium, her heels locked together like a judge ready to deliver sentence. Next to her, Dale, the treasurer, flipped through a binder thick enough to be scripture. The sign behind them read, HOA Special Session. Resolution 1207 Enforcement. Someone had underlined enforcement twice. Intro, 20% tension. Set. Next on the agenda, Karen said Mr. Lang's objection regarding vehicle violation 1207. My name sounded like a footnote. I stood, clutching the envelope I'd mailed that morning, stamped, received, and returned by their own office. Filed, 412-07-03-17. The microphone whined as I leaned in. "This truck isn't a business," I said. "It's what's left of my mother's work. You banned it without asking a single question." From the back, a woman whispered, "We all lost something." Another man added, "It's just a truck, buddy. Minnie, Cliff number 1. Mocked at Mike. That phrase hung in the air, just a truck. I felt the room tilt slightly, not from anger, but from the weight of that smallness. Just a truck, just a life, just a rule. Karen adjusted her glasses. "The board has reviewed your letter. Our responsibility is community standards, not individual sentiment." Earl stood halfway up. "Come on, Karen. The man's mother lived here 30 years. Karen didn't look at him. "Order, please." She tapped the gavel, a real one this time, polished and small. The microphone cut briefly, then popped back to life. All those in favor of upholding the vehicle ban resolution 1207 hands rose, Karen, Dale, and Marcy from landscaping. 2 others hesitated, glancing at me. Opposed. Only the secretary's hand and one from the maintenance chair lifted, slow and uncertain. 3-2, Dale announced. "Motion carries. Minnie, Cliff number 2. Vote passes." The sound of pens clicking filled the silence. Karen signed the document with deliberate strokes, then slid it into a blue folder marked Official Board Resolution. The seal pressed down with a stamp thunk echoing through the room. I walked up to the table before she could file it away. "May I?" She hesitated. "It's public record after adjournment." I reached anyway, flipping the bottom corner. A tiny line caught my eye, small type nearly hidden, Appeal County Docket 1207. That was the hole in their armor, the line they didn't expect me to read. "So it can be appealed," I said, voice steady. Karen blinked. "Technically, yes, but no one has." "Then I'll be the first." Minnie, Cliff number 3. Appeal declared. A murmur rippled through the chairs. Dale looked annoyed. Karen looked cornered, and Earl started clapping once slow but loud enough to draw attention. I turned back to the mic. "For the record, I said I'm filing under County Docket 1207, the same number you used to ban it." Karen's mouth twitched, half smirk, half disbelief. "That's your right," she said again. Same tone as the morning before. I folded the document gently, the ink still damp. The HOA seal left a faint circular imprint on my palm. As I stepped away, I caught the eyes of a younger man near the door. New homeowner, fresh tie, clean shoes. He gave a tiny nod, unsure if it meant support or sympathy. Outside, the air hit cold. The sky carried the color of aluminum. Earl followed me out, shoving his hands into his jacket pockets. "You really gonna go to the county, huh?" "Already did," I said. "They stamped it before breakfast." He laughed under his breath. "Karen's gonna hate that." "Good," I replied. "It means she heard me." We passed the bulletin board by the clubhouse gate. A printed copy of the resolution was already pinned there, corners curling in the wind. My name sat in bold type next to the word non-compliance. Earl tapped it once. Guess they made you famous. Let's hope the county reads faster than they post, I said. He chuckled, then walked back toward his house. I stayed behind, tracing the embossed seal on the page I'd taken. It felt heavier than paper, like a key. The truck waited in my driveway, still stickered, still mine. For the first time, I noticed how bright the orange looked against the fading white of the siding. Defiant, almost proud. I slipped the signed resolution into Mom's old file folder, right behind her photograph. Tomorrow, I'd drive that envelope to the courthouse myself. Every ban leaves paper behind. That's what Mom used to say when she filed her shop permits, never angry, just sure. I carry that voice with me through the county archives, a place that smells like dust and toner. The clerk buzzes me through a metal door, the kind that hums faintly before unlocking. Rows of cabinets stretch forever beige and humming under fluorescent lights that flicker like old film reels. A sign reads, Property Records, 1890, present. My boots echo on the tile. Somewhere a copier jams a clerk, swears under her breath, and a single radio plays classic rock too low to recognize. At the counter, a small man with square glasses looks up. His badge reads, Alvarez Archivist. You're early, he says, smiling. Most folks don't show up until they're being sued. Not yet, I tell him. Just need to prove a road's older than a rule. Mini Cliff number 1. Old map hunt begins. He gestures to a back aisle. Easements are in the real room. Year range late 1800s. Property south of Heritage Lake. His eyebrows rise. That's old. HOA country now. Exactly. He chuckles softly, leading me past stacks of microfilm boxes. Each drawer slides open with a metal rasp. He threads one reel into a reader, the machine sighing like it's been waiting years for attention. What's the case, he asks. HOA banned my mom's truck, said the road's private. I think it isn't. He nods slowly. Funny how new paper always tries to erase the old. The screen flickers to life. White glare, then black film winding past. He scrolls, careful as a surgeon. Dates blur, 1897, 1898, 1899. Then he stops. Here. A map unfurls on screen, cracked handwriting, faded ink. The line labeled Lang Road snakes straight through what's now our HOA gate. The margin note reads Heritage Easement, 1899, Public Access Roadway. I lean closer, pulse pounding. Can I get a certified copy? Alvarez grins proud like he's been waiting for someone to ask. Haven't printed one of these in 20 years. He pulls out a fresh sheet, slides it into the copier, and presses Print, Archive, Cert. The machine whirs, spitting out a ghost image of the map. Then he stamps it, county seal, embossed gold edge catching the light. Mini Cliff number 2. Seal. Stamp revelation. There he says, if your HOA bans access to a public easement, they're out of bounds. This plat predates their jurisdiction by 70 years. I study the paper, running my thumb over the raised seal. The weight of it feels heavier than the ban notice taped to Mom's truck. So, if I file this, it overrides them. Not overrides, he says carefully. But it reminds the county who owns the dirt. He lowers his voice. You didn't hear it from me, but Section 1207 of their charter references county compliance. That means this document is their problem now. Appreciate it, I tell him. Alvarez smiles again, eyes glinting. Always nice to see someone use paper for justice instead of punishment. Symbolic mentor. Beat. Guidance and truth. We walk back toward the counter. The hum of the lights sounds almost warm now. He slides the copy into a plastic sleeve and seals it with a red clip. Keep it flat, he says. Easements wrinkle easy, but history doesn't. I'll file a counter notice tomorrow. Make sure you stamp it yourself, Alvarez adds. You'll want to see that ink hit the page. Mini Cliff number 3. Decision to act. Outside. Daylight bleeds through the glass doors, bright and colorless. The courthouse across the square rings its noon chime. I look down at the certified overlay Heritage Easement 1899, embossed, seal-catching sunlight like truth made visible. I pull my phone from my pocket, Take a picture. Received, county seal. 12:07 p.m. Evidence again. Always evidence. When I step onto the courthouse steps, the air smells of rain and iron. A gust lifts the corner of the sleeve, the document whispering like a page turned too soon. Every ban leaves paper behind, I murmur. Guess Mom was right. I fold the map carefully into the envelope marked Lang Vies Heritage HOA. Tomorrow, that paper would speak louder than their rules. The registered envelope hits the table like a gavel. I stare at it, county return address, blue seal-thin crack of authority in paper form. The morning light cuts through the blinds, striping my kitchen table like ruled lines on a form. Next to the envelope sits Mom's old typewriter, the one she used for invoices. Its keys are dusted but ready. Beside it, my laptop hums on a shaky Wi-Fi connection. This is my command post, now half diner booth, half legal desk. I open the counter notice template Alvarez emailed last night. The cursor blinks beside claimant Lang R. "All right, Mom," I whisper. "Let's make this official. Intro. 20% domestic stillness before motion. The first page prints clean plaintiff versus Heritage HOA. Counter notice, year 12-07. The second stops halfway, printer choking. A jam warning blinks red. Mini cliff number 1. Printer jam. Delay tension. I pull the paper free. Edges hot. Figures, I mutter. They hate being recorded even by a printer. I reload the tray and try again. The machine groans, then spits out the sheet with a neat margin of victory. The pile builds Exhibit A, HOA ban. Notice photo of the orange sticker. Exhibit B, County Easement, 1899. Alvarez's stamped overlay. Exhibit C, transcript of board vote 3-2. Outside, a truck door slams tow driver doing a slow patrol past my driveway. I film through the window as he inches forward, bumper almost touching the curb, camera light blinking. I check the timestamp 0317, same as every notice they've filed. Patterns mean intent. Evidence means leverage. Body, 63% assembling proof and serving notice. By noon, I'm at the post office counter, envelope thick as a novella. The clerk squints at the address. Heritage Homeowners Association. Atienne, President Millen. Certified, registered. Signature required, I say. She slides the packet across the scale, taps the digital screen, then lowers a heavy stamp thunk that echoes off the plexiglass divider. Mini cliff number 2. Mail. Clerk stamp moment of lawful power. Receipt copies yours, she says. That's Exhibit D. I reply, sliding it into my folder. Outside, rain starts thin, persistent. I park under the awning and open my laptop again. The county portal dashboard loads, slow progress wheel spinning like suspense. At last, upload 0317 video. Success. Below it, a new banner flashes, TTRO, request accepted, temporary tow restraining order. Mini cliff number 3. Hearing scheduled. Justice trigger. For a moment, I just stare at the screen. The hum of the post office vending machine fills the quiet. Somewhere behind the counter, a radio crackles with weather reports. Thunder possible by 6. I whisper, perfect. The clerk waves as she locks up the parcel bin. You all set? Mr. Lang said enough, I say. Driving home, I pass the HOA gate. Karen's SUV is parked near the bulletin board, taillights glowing like coals. She doesn't look up, but I see her holding her phone, probably refreshing the portal she doesn't realize I've already entered. The rain thickens. Wipers beat time. My dashboard clock flips to 0317 p.m. Same numbers, different meaning now. At home, I spread the receipt, the stamped counter notice, and Alvarez's overlay across the table. Each page a step closer to reclaiming something they tried to erase. The camera light on my laptop blinks red recording for the case file. For the record, I say quietly, counter notice 4/12/07 filed and served. Hearing pending. Thunder rolls outside, low and certain. I stack the documents, slide them into a labeled binder, and press down until the latch clicks solid final like closing an old book. Mom's photograph rests on top, her smile, half faded, but proud. The printer hums once more, printing the docket confirmation received, 0317, County Record. Records log. I take a breath and whisper, one paper at a time. They banned my mom's truck, so I brought the ban to court. That line made the local paper before I even spoke a word in the hearing. The headline sat bold above a photo of the county hall, the one with the chipped marble steps and brass handrails polished smooth by decades of tired hands. Inside, the room buzzed like a beehive, neighbors whispering, board members avoiding eye contact, the faint hum of the ceiling fans beating steady over the tension. Rows of folding chairs lined the chamber. The flag leaned in its stand near the bench, its fringe brushing the floor. A single microphone stood in the aisle, red light blinking, waiting to record everything. Earl found me near the front. "You ready for this?" he asked. "Doesn't matter," I said. "It's already on record." The clerk's voice echoed over the speakers. Case number PIR1207, County versus Heritage Homeowners Association. Across the aisle, Karen Millen sat beside her lawyer, back straight, expression fixed somewhere between control and disbelief. Dale, the treasurer, fidgeted behind her, shuffling papers that already looked defeated. The judge entered, tall, gray-haired eyes sharp as a surveyor's. His gavel struck once. "We're here to determine whether the Heritage HOA acted within its charter authority under Resolution 1207. He glanced my way. "Mr. Lang, you're appearing pro se. Yes, Your Honor. Proceed when ready." My knees didn't shake, not this time. I opened my binder, the pages stacked like armor. "This began with a sticker," I said, holding up the photograph. A notice that told me my late mother's pickup had no place in the neighborhood she paid dues to for 30 years. The screen behind the bench flickered to life as the clerk projected my exhibits. Exhibit A, ban. Notice. Filed, Fiatra 1207, 0317. Exhibit B, County, Easement, 1899. Exhibit C, Video, Evidence, 0317, Tow, Attempt. Karen's attorney rose. "Your Honor, relevance, overruled," the judge said before he could finish. I nodded at the clerk. "Play the video." The speakers hissed, then filled the room with the sound of chains tightening metal, scraping asphalt. On screen, the HOA's tow contractor crept toward my driveway, headlights cutting through fog. The timestamp blinked 0317 a.m. That cursed number again. Someone in the audience gasped when the strap caught on Mom's bumper and snapped loose. The sound echoed through the chamber like a whip. That, I said, is how Resolution TR-12-07 was enforced. Not by law, by intimidation. The judge raised a brow, studying the screen. "The time on this matches your filings. Yes, Your Honor. Every notice, every photo." 0317. He wrote something in his ledger. Noted. Minnie Cliff number 1. Video impact, lands, audience reaction. Karen whispered to her lawyer. He didn't look up. Dale shifted in his seat, face pale under the fluorescent light. The judge gestured. "Show me the easement." I handed the overlay certified by Alvarez across the clerk's desk. The map spread under the courtroom lamp, edges glowing faint gold where the county seal caught the light. "This document," I said, "was discovered in the archives. Filed in 1899. It predates the HOA by 70 years. It designates the heritage easement as a public access road, not private property." The judge traced the ink line with his pen. "You verified authenticity. County archivist confirmed it. Seal impression matches." He nodded once. "And the HOA restricted access anyway," Karen spoke up, voice tight. "We acted to preserve neighborhood standards. Oversized vehicles." The judge cut her off. "You acted outside jurisdiction." He looked down, flipped the folder shut with a soft thud, then lifted it and banged it once against the bench. No gavel, just the weight of paper doing the work. Minnie Cliff number 2, file. Strike turning point. This court finds that the Heritage Homeowners Association exceeded its authority by restricting use of a public easement. Resolution 1207 is hereby void. Gasps, murmurs. The clerk kept typing, keys clattering like applause. The judge continued, voice crisp. Effective immediately, the HOA shall cease enforcement actions related to showdown 1207, including tow or penalty. Furthermore, the county orders closure of the HOA gate pending audit of easement compliance. Karen blinked. Closure of our access road. The judge didn't flinch. You can appeal, but understand the road predates you. He signed the court transcript, heading, the seal pressing down with a metallic click. Case 1207, County versus HOA Board. The clerk stamped it, received 0317, as though the system itself enjoyed symmetry. Karen's lawyer exhaled. We'll file for reconsideration. The judge leaned back. You started this with a sticker counselor. Now you can read your own rules. Earl snorted from the back, covering his grin with his hand. The gallery stirred quiet claps a few about times. I looked over and saw neighbors who hadn't spoken to me in weeks now nodding like they'd just remembered decency. The judge gathered his papers. Mr. Lang, your counter notice is upheld. Court adjourned. He rose. Robes swaying. The gavel struck twice. Outside, light poured through the courthouse windows, bright as mercy. Earl caught me on the steps, breathless from trying not to cheer inside. So, he said, they closed their own road, huh? Judge did, I replied. Still, Earl said, smiling, finally, someone fought back. That line hit like the first breeze after a storm. I didn't say anything, didn't need to. The courthouse bell rang once, sharp and clean. Karen and her lawyer walked past, avoiding my eyes. The cameras outside clicked. The reporter from Channel 6 asked for a quote. Paper outlives noise, I told her. Then I opened the truck door. The sticker was gone. Only a faint outline remained, sun-bleached proof of everything we'd survived. I turned the key, the old engine coughing to life. Behind me, the courthouse steps filled with people talking, pointing, shaking hands. The flag over the hall flapped once caught by a sudden gust. For the first time in months, the gate at Heritage stood open. And, for the first time in years, the road belonged to everyone again. The same road they patrolled is now sealed by order. The heat came early that day, the kind that bleaches color out of everything. The HOA gate shimmered in the sun, its steel bars still streaked with the fingerprints of the guards who used to keep me out. Today, a county deputy stood in front of it, clipboard and hand-mirrored sunglasses hiding whatever amusement he felt. Neighbors lined the sidewalk, phones, raised lenses glinting. Some whispered. Some just stared. The old metal sign that once read Private Access, Residents Only, now carried a fresh paper taped square in the center. The heading shouted in black type Road, closed by order of County Judge Case 1207. The deputy cleared his throat. Under authority of the county court, the Heritage Homeowners Association's gate is hereby closed pending compliance audit, effective immediately. His voice was calm, almost formal, but the sound cut through the quiet like a saw. Karen Millen stood near the post, pearls trembling against her neck. You can't just, this is our entrance. The deputy flipped a page reading from the order. Authority established through Heritage Easement of 1899 incorporated by County Docket 1207. This gate no longer falls under HOA jurisdiction. He handed me a triplicate set of injunction forms, each stamped received, each corner embossed with the county seal. I slid one into my binder next to the court transcript, the paper still warm from the copier. You're Mr. Lang? The deputy asked. Yes, sir. Judge said you might want to watch this part. He nodded to his partner, who unhooked a short length of chain, looped it through the gate handles, and locked it with a clang that echoed down the road. Mini Cliff No. 1 gate, chained reversal complete. A hush fell over the crowd. Someone in the back started clapping soft at first, then louder as others joined in. It wasn't wild applause, just a rhythm of relief, like the sound of something long overdue, finally landing where it should. Karen's attorney tried to interject. We intend to appeal, The deputy didn't even glance at him. "You'll need a new road first." Karen turned toward me, anger and disbelief tangled on her face. "You think this fixes anything? You humiliated this community." "I didn't humiliate anyone," I said quietly. "I just showed them the paperwork." Her lips parted, searching for a comeback that wouldn't sound small. None came. Behind her, Earl leaned on the fence, grinning beneath his ball cap. "Hey, Karen," he called. "Guess you're the one blocked now." Laughter rippled through the crowd, uneasy but real. Karen shot him a glare sharp enough to cut glass, then turned back to the deputy. "Can we at least open it for residents?" she asked, voice trembling now. "Not until the audit's complete," he said. "Judge's signature is binding." She took a step forward, palms raised. "Please, people have errands deliveries." The deputy pointed at the order taped to the gate. "You can walk around. County's temporary access is through the side road. You'll get updates once the compliance report's filed." Karen's shoulders sagged. The pearls stopped trembling. She looked smaller now, framed by the metal she once used to divide everyone else. Mini Cliff Number 2. Karen pleads powerless reversal. The deputy folded his papers, tucking them into the clipboard. "All right, folks, nothing else to see here. County will maintain supervision." But there was plenty to see. A camera drone hovered overhead, buzzing faintly as it filmed the sealed gate and the stamped order glinting in sunlight. Someone posted the clip before the deputy even left, #HOA closed trending within minutes, though I didn't know that yet. Karen walked away slowly, her heels catching in the cracks of the pavement. Dale followed, carrying her folder like it weighed more than he did. Earl approached me, wiping sweat off his brow. "Never thought I'd see that gate chained from the outside?" "Neither did I said. "But here we are." He chuckled. "County sure knows how to end a meeting." The deputy turned back one last time. "Judge wanted me to remind you, sir, this is temporary until full review." "Temporary's fine," I said. "It's still justice." He tipped his hat and walked toward his cruiser tires crunching gravel. The air filled with the sound of cicadas and soft applause, like the neighborhood itself was exhaling for the first time. I took one last photo, triplicate order. Received 0317. Case R1207, and saved it to the same folder as the others. Evidence, always evidence. Earl laughed again, pointing at the crowd of neighbors still filming. "You realize half these folks are pretending they were on your side the whole time." "Let them," I said. "History's got a good memory." Mini Cliff Number 3. Crowd cheers. Power shifts. Karen reached her SUV, turned once toward me, and stopped. For a heartbeat, she looked like she might say something, "Thank you, maybe," or nothing at all. Then she got in, slammed the door, and drove off down the detour road the county opened just for her. I stood there in the sunlight binder pressed against my chest, watching the heat rise off the sealed gate. The chain caught the glare, gleaming like a medal. Paper outlives noise. I whispered the phrase more truth than comfort now. The crowd began to disperse, voices soft, almost respectful. The deputy's cruiser disappeared over the hill, leaving the street oddly quiet. Mom's truck sat in my driveway door, open, radio low. A country song drifted out, something about promises kept and roads reclaimed. I smiled, folded the injunction copy into my file, and locked it shut. Justice didn't need fireworks. Sometimes it just needed a stamp and a chain. Apologies sound different when the mic belongs to the crowd. The town hall smelled like coffee and new paper. Folding chairs lined the aisle again, but this time the air wasn't thick with accusation. There was something quiet or cautious, the sound of people showing up to make amends. The flag behind the podium hung still, no draft in the room, no hum from the fans. Just the shuffle of feet and the squeak of metal chairs as neighbors found their seats. At the front table, a stack of refund checks sat neatly fanned beside a ledger marked Heritage HOA, Remediation Fund. The judge sat in his same black robe sleeves, rolled glasses perched on the end of his nose. Beside him, Mr. Alvarez, now wearing a county badge over his shirt pocket, reviewed the numbers line by line. And standing behind the microphone, shoulders drawn but steady, was Karen Millen. She adjusted the mic. The screech of feedback made her flinch. She glanced at the judge. He gave a nod for her to continue. Members of the heritage community, she began, voice trembling slightly. The board wishes to acknowledge that Resolution 12-07 was enforced in error and beyond our authority. I apologize to those affected. The words hit the walls differently. No one cheered, no one booed. Just silence, heavy, almost sacred. Earl leaned toward me and whispered, "Didn't think I'd ever hear that from her." I didn't answer. My binder rested across my lap, every page still in order, every stamp still visible. Karen cleared her throat and read from a sheet signed by the judge himself. Per county order, restitution shall be issued for improper tow fees, fines, and costs of defense. Refunds certified by county audit. Mr. Alvarez will verify distribution. She gestured to the refund ledger, its columns full of handwritten names and amounts. Alvarez adjusted his glasses, flipped open the cover, and nodded. "Numbers check out," he said simply. "Minnie Cliff number 1. Check distribution begins." The judge leaned into his microphone. "Mrs. Millen, you may proceed." Karen picked up the first check, her hand shaking just enough for the paper to flutter. She read the name aloud, Earl Peterson, and held it up. The clerk carried it down the aisle. The old man grinned and tipped his cap. Next, she said, voice steadier, "Robert Lang." I rose slowly, the room blurring for a second as the moment caught up to me. I walked to the podium. She met my eyes, not defiant this time, just tired. She extended the envelope. "I'm sorry," she said softly. I nodded once. So noted. I slipped the check into my binder without looking at the amount. The apology was the real payment. Minnie Cliff number 2. Silent acknowledgement, tension before release. Alvarez leaned toward the mic. For the record, he said, all funds have cleared. Compliance achieved. The judge signed the bottom of the minutes. Let the record show, refund disbursement complete. Community order restored. He set the pen down and looked out at the crowd. Any objections? No one spoke. Even the usual whisperers stayed quiet. The silence stretched until it became something larger than words, the sound of people deciding, maybe for the first time, to let go. Then Earl started clapping. Once, twice, the sound echoed sharp against the wood paneling. Someone else joined in, then another. The room filled with applause, uneven, messy, honest. Minnie Cliff number 3. Applause erupts. Communal catharsis. Karen stepped back, wiping her eyes. The judge stood, gave a small bow, and walked to the side table. For anyone who still doubts, he said, tapping the folder, the law keeps its own memory. Alvarez closed the ledger, the county seal embossed on its cover. He handed it to the clerk, who stamped the corner. Received 03/17, the same time that had haunted every document in this case. This time, though, it felt like closure, not curse. Karen looked up from the podium. "May I say one more thing?" The judge nodded. She faced the crowd. "The board will be dissolved. New elections will be held under county oversight. I'll assist in the transition, but won't serve again." Someone murmured, "Good on her." Karen exhaled. "We lost our way trying to protect an image. Mr. Lang reminded us that paper works both ways. It can punish or it can heal." The room stilled again. I caught Alvarez's faint smile, the kind a teacher gives when a student finally understands the lesson. Earl nudged me. "Guess that's one for the books, huh?" "Yeah," I said. "The last page." The judge stood once more. Meeting adjourned. "Thank you, citizens." He struck the table gently with his folder, not quite a gavel, more like a punctuation mark. People rose, chairs scraping the floor, the chatter soft and reverent. I stayed seated for a moment, watching as the refund checks disappeared into pockets and purses, as the minutes were boxed and labeled, and as the flag behind the podium fluttered faintly in the air conditioning. Karen walked past on her way out, stopping just long enough to say, "For what it's worth?" "Thank you. For what it's worth," I replied. "You're welcome." Outside, the courthouse bell rang, once low and calm. The sound carried down the reopened road, echoing between houses freshly repainted and suddenly ordinary again. Justice didn't roar. This time it lingered folded neatly inside an envelope marked Refund Check 001. Mom's truck rolls over new pavement she'd never see. The sun was low when I turned onto the road again, the same one they'd closed, chained, fought over, and finally returned to the people. Now it gleamed with fresh asphalt, the county crews having patched every scar left from years of argument. The paint on the lines was still bright, almost wet-looking. The road signs stood straight again, free of tape and stickers. At the far end, the old stone post office glowed in the orange light. A small crowd gathered near its steps where a new bronze plaque waited under a folded blue cloth. Earl leaned against the railing, hat in his hands. Karen stood a few feet away, not at the center this time, but near the edge of the crowd, still here, still watching. The flag on the courthouse roof rippled once as a breeze passed through, carrying the smell of dust-hot tar and barbecue from the diner down the block. I parked the truck beside the curb, the same one Mom had waited at for mail runs every Friday morning. "Looks good out here," Earl said when I joined him. "Better than it ever did," I replied. The county judge stood beside the podium again, casual this time, coat off, sleeves rolled. Alvarez held a clipboard with the final transfer order, the seal pressed in bright gold, County Maintenance Authority restored. Case, Yard 12, 07, complete. When the crowd quieted, the judge spoke. "Sometimes justice is loud," he said, "but sometimes it's as simple as a name carved in metal." He nodded to Alvarez. The archivist stepped forward, reading from the engraving sheet in his hand. "This plaque commemorates the citizens who defended public access under law and reminds us that fairness doesn't need force." Karen stepped closer, eyes on the cloth. "Would you do the honors, Mr. Lang?" I hesitated for a second, then reached out. The cloth slid away easily, revealing the bronze underneath. The letters caught the last of the light. "Citizens who fought fair." Finally, someone fought back. The crowd stayed silent for a moment, just the sound of the flag flapping and the soft click of phone cameras. Minnie, Cliff No. 1 nickel placed under plaque. Earl pulled a coin from his pocket, a dull old nickel edges smooth from years of use. "Found this the day we built that gate," he said. "Figured it might as well stay here when it finally meant something." He handed it to me and I slid it under the corner of the plaque before tightening the last bolt. Metal against metal, sealed by time. Karen stepped forward, then, voice quiet. "For what it's worth, thank you for keeping us honest. For what it's worth, I said you showed up to fix it." Her smile was small, but real. Alvarez nodded, signing the transfer order and placing it inside a clear sleeve on the back of the stone. Minnie, Cliff No. 2, silence before release. The judge looked out at everyone. "County hereby restores open access to Heritage Road under public maintenance. Let this plaque mark the day people remembered what community means." He handed me a copy of the order embossed, stamped, "Received, 03-17." The final echo of every file notice and envelope that had defined the fight. The crowd applauded softly. Not the wild cheer of victory, but the slow rhythm of gratitude. The kind that says we're tired, but we did it right. Karen joined in, clapping once then again. Earl raised his cap. Even the deputy off duty now and wearing sunglasses gave a two-finger salute. I turned toward the truck. Its chrome bumper caught the sunset, the reflection warm and clean. The same vehicle that started the whole mess now sat where it always belonged, legal, unchained, ordinary. "You driving it?" Earl asked. "Yeah," I said. "One last ride before dinner." He grinned. "Don't let the judge catch you speeding on his new road." The laughter broke the silence. I climbed in, key warm in my palm, and started the engine. The familiar cough of the motor rolled through the street, a sound older than any bylaw. Minnie, Cliff No. 3. Engine. Starts closure. Complete. As the truck eased forward, I looked once more in the mirror. The crowd lingered around the plaque. Karen Alvarez, the judge, Earl, all framed in the golden light. The bronze letters shone brighter now, like the road itself was remembering every name, every filing, every 0317 that brought us here. I drove slowly past the diner, where someone had already pinned a newspaper clipping to the bulletin board. County upholds citizen appeal case, ER 1207. Beneath it, someone had scrawled in pen. Finally, someone fought back. The wind carried the scent of barbecue, and I thought of Mom, how she'd lean on the truck window, laugh about the rules people make to feel important, and say, "They can't ban what's right." The pavement hummed beneath the tires, smooth, sure, steady. At the corner, I stopped long enough to see the flag wave once more in the distance. The light caught the plaque perfectly, so it looked almost alive. Then I turned onto the main road, sun setting ahead, the sky burning orange over Heritage. For the first time in a long while, nothing blocked the way forward. And behind me the plaque waited proof that some fights when fought fair leave the world a little cleaner than they found it. The last light hit the bronze plaque and the seal beside it glowing like proof that the fight had truly ended. The crowd had gone home, but their footprints still marked the new pavement pressed into fresh tar like signatures of relief. I traced the engraved words, "Citizens who fought fair," and the county seal stamped, "Received, 0317, caught the sun again." Justice, it turned out, wasn't loud. It was steady. We didn't win by shouting, we won by standing, filing, and staying until it was right. Finally, someone fought back. Share your HOA story below your map might help someone redraw theirs.